I love Angie. She was serving dinner to Monica because Angie, she handled it so good. Like, Monica reminds me of a kindergartner. And I love when Angie was like, you'll talk and then I'm gonna talk. Angie was like, I'm real good with children, so I know how to handle Monica. Like, yeah, Monica, the way you act, you behave like a child. I feel like Monica, she is the type of person who thinks that if she screams the loudest, that means that what she is saying is correct or what she is saying is right or believable. And you could see that, like, every said, bitch, black bitch, dumb bitch, and like all this other stuff. In that first season, you couldn't even finish an event because Jen Shah was always losing her shit. Like, even in her husband's 50th birthday party, she was losing her shit and making a scene. And it was to the point where Coach, like, didn't even talk to her. Coach packed his bag. He went wherever the fuck he went. He wouldn't even answer her call. And I think Monica acts the same way. Like, Monica, to me, she is like someone that I would never take to like a fancy event because, like, legit, I would think that she is like the type that would like wipe her nose on the tablecloth or something. I don't think Andy likes Monica. I know people were saying, oh, well, she got the first seat. Yes, she got the first seat, but that was because the season finale was revolved around this whole expose of, oh my God, she's reality Von Teese. She needed to explain all of that. It's not necessarily that she's put there because Andy likes her. And the reason why I say that is because if you guys listen to Radio Andy on his Sirius XM radio station, him and his co-host John, they actually talked about the first part reunion, and he did not seem to have like very nice thing to say about Monica. His co-host John definitely does not like her at all. I felt like the second part was kind of boring. They talked about Jack and his mission. They talk about Monica and her mother. They talk about Whitney. They talk about Mary came out. Here was the thing though. Mary did an interview with Teddy Mellencamp, and Teddy was like putting on her Barbara Walter hat on and doing an interview. And Mary, straight from the horse's mouth, said that production was trying to ice her out. She wasn't invited to any of the events, that they hardly filmed anything with her in it. And Teddy was like, oh, I thought that was your doing. I thought you were just trying to remove yourself. Mary was like, no, that wasn't my doing. That was production's doing. And people are like, well, why did they bring her back this season? They brought her back because they did not know how Monica was going to do. When Angie says she checked all the boxes, Monica did not check all those boxes, but they brought her on because of her connection to Jen Shah. Season 4 was supposed to be the aftermath and the fallout of Jen pleading guilty. I say this all the time, and people want to act like, you know, they brought Monica on for any other reason than the fact that she had a connection to Jen Shah. That was the only reason why she was cast. You know, because some of these housewives, they don't have money, but they're able to at least pull off the facade that they have money. She wasn't even able to pull off a facade that she had money, but they gave her a chance because of her connection with Jen Shah. By the way, Monica's mom blocked me. She blocked me on Twitter. Like, Linda, why are you blocking me on Twitter, Linda? I'm like, I don't even think I'm saying that bad of a thing about her anyway. I'm saying, like, I personally feel that Lisa hit it on the nail when Lisa said to Monica, maybe you and your mother are the same person and you guys act exactly alike. Lisa hit it on the nail. I was looking back at that video of Monica and her mom, Linda, fighting, and in that video, you just see Bree walking by like it was nothing, like she was used to it. And I could tell how mature Bree is just from the few scenes that she's on. And I know that Bree, she's 18 years old. That poor girl, she is basically raising her younger siblings. Like, her mom wants to be out there and be a movie star, be a TV star. Like, everything that she accuses her mom, Linda, of, Monica is that person. She is that person. And it's like, poor Bree, she's 18 years old and she's not enjoying the life of a teenager because she probably has to be home all the time taking care of her siblings. Because what the fuck is Monica doing? Here's the thing. Monica, she has like nobody to help her, right? Like, she has her mom, but like her and her mom are always fighting. And so it's like Bree, the 18-year-old, the oldest daughter, she is the one that has to take care of her siblings all the time. In one of Linda's Twitter tweets, she has said that Bree has been holding down the fort since she was 12 years old, which kind of makes sense because she is significantly older than the other children. There is like a huge age gap, especially amongst the two younger children. Monica is like a professional victim. Every single time she wants to like deflect from what a shitty person she is and how she is like sociopath or fucking psychotic, she brings up her mom, she brings up her shitty childhood, she brings up all this stuff, and it's like the person that she reminds me of is Danielle Staub, because whenever Danielle Staub was faced with something, it was Marty was abusive. Her ex-husband was abusive. She grew up in an abusive childhood. You know, she had an abusive boyfriend. I mean, like, if you guys watch New Jersey and you're a fan of New Jersey, and if you even seen the episodes where Danielle comes back as a friend of Teresa's, then you will see all of the ways that, like, she was a perpetual victim. She was always a victim. She had that victim mentality. And that is like the same way with Monica. It is everybody's fault. It's her ex-husband's fault. It's the Mormon church's fault. It is her mother's fault. It is her castmates' fault. It is everybody's fault except for her. And what I thought was really funny, or not funny, but what I thought was really ironic was that when Heather was whipping out her audio recording, Monica actually has like the audacity to say, yeah, that's really shitty that you would go get recordings from my best friend. Like, girl, that was like the whole entire extent of what you were doing. Like, she cannot objectively see that. I feel like she's Ted Bundy, though. Her mom very well might be just like Ted Bundy, might be a narcissist also, but it's like, I think Monica is just like her mother. And when Lisa said, well, maybe you and your mom are the same person, absolutely. I think Heather was able to see through her. Heather was like, you know, she went on her spiel about her shitty childhood and what a shitty mom she had. And Heather said something like, well, why would you film with her? And I'm glad that Andy followed up on that question also. He was like, yeah, why would you choose to film with her? And then she tried to explain it away by saying like, you know, whatever. I feel like just because you are a relatable person, that doesn't mean that you are like not a thieving, conniving liar. I do think she's a thieving, conniving liar. Now, she wants to say that she was an FBI informant. She was not an FBI informant. What she did was her and the designer, they called up the prosecutor for the case to say that they had information on Jen Shah, and they were basically blowing themselves up like the same way that she probably blew herself up with the casting crew, the casting director, casting producer of Bravo. She was blowing herself up, saying that she had information, and then she's saying she has a friend in Secret Service that picked that mugshot that she put out. That was a filter mugshot. There is no police station in this country that is going to give you an Andy Warhol pop image colorization of what she put out on Instagram. But just because you are bringing it out before somebody could expose you for it doesn't make you less of a shitty person. So just because you go out onto TV and say, well, I slept with my brother-in-law for 18 months, that doesn't make you any less of a shitty person. It's like if John Gotti went out and said, yeah, I killed a bunch of people. I set people's houses on fire. I stuffed dead bodies into the trunk. It's like, well, he could own all that shit, but does that make it better that he says it? Like, it doesn't excuse it and it doesn't invalidate it. And here's the thing, she's fucking crazy. You cannot record someone in the privacy of their own home. Like the FBI cannot even do that. Like legit, the FBI could not even do that. So Monica, unless you could come up with a warrant, somebody needs to get a hold of Coach Shah and sue her fucking ass, because that is crazy. That is like single white female shit. And it's like people are trying to make excuses saying, oh, well, she was doing it to expose Jen Shah. Jen Shah was already arrested by then. You guys are acting like she's known Jen Shah for like 10 years. She did not know Jen Shah for 10 years. She met Jen Shah in 2020. That's when she met Jen Shah. The feds have been investigating Jen Shah since 2012. By the time her thirsty ass picked up the phone to volunteer her freaking happy ass for, information, Jen Shah was already arrested. So she wasn't doing anything other than giving herself clout so that she could go to the casting team and be like, oh yeah, I was an informant for Jen. No, you weren't. You were not an informant because they had Stuart Smith. They didn't need you. Like, what the fuck would they need you for? They had Stuart Smith. I feel like people try to excuse Monica's behavior by saying like, oh, Jen Shah. Like, if she is doing wrong, why are you excusing it just because Jen Shah is a shitty person? I see that as an excuse a lot. Oh, well, look at what Jen did. Jen's in prison. So like, why are we talking about Jen Shah? Monica is responsible for her own actions. What Jen did, how is that relevant to Monica being a fucking crazy person? I mean, she gave an explanation, but I felt like she was lying. I felt like she was lying out of her ass, because legit, that whole entire episode, I was counting how many times she said, honestly, well, to be honest with you, like, honestly, I always feel like when somebody says, well, honestly, that means you're not being honest. I mean, if you say it that many times, then you're watering down that word, and if you have to keep on saying, well, honestly, then it's like, well, are you really being honest? She said that, well, that was a dig at me because I told my mom that, like, some people on this cast felt like I was, like, making up my last name to seem more Latina. I believe it 100%. She was a blonde with a white-sounding last name, and she basically was pretending to be white when it suited her. Salt Lake City, for being in Utah, was actually one of the most diverse casts in Housewives. And you would think it would be that way for a show like New York City, which it wasn't. Surprisingly, they had like a bunch of white-ass middle-aged women for like, I don't know, freaking like 13 seasons. But surprisingly, right from the get-go, Salt Lake City was a very diverse cast. And I felt like Monica, once she started getting cast or having interviews to being cast, that's when she started dyeing her hair black, making herself look more tan. And that's when she decided on Monica Garcia. Like, the name Monica Garcia doesn't even make sense. It was like she's saying, well, honestly, I haven't seen my father since I was 4. Honestly, I just, I don't even know if I want to see him anymore at my age. But like, honestly, I just wanted to have like a last name. So I decided to have like my father's last name that I haven't ever seen. But like, my mom's name is Darnell, and like my married name is Flower. And then I was going to go with Delgado. Like, where the fuck was Delgado from? Where was Delgado from, Monica? Where was that name Delgado from? She would have been like, honestly, Delgado is from like my grandmother's cousin's uncle's nephew's father. And I just felt this connection because like, honestly, it just like connected me with my like Latina roots. Like, girl, please. And I do think that like she legit probably like looked in a phone book and was like, well, this sounds like the most Latina name I could think of. You were Monica Darnell, and then your other half of your life, you were Monica Flower. You were Monica Flower, and then all of a sudden you get cast on Salt Lake City. You file for divorce from your husband, and when you file for divorce, you want your name to be switched to Monica Garcia, even though that was in your maiden name, and even though that was in like your married name. You just out of nowhere wanted to be Monica Garcia. When Heather was playing that recording of her calling Mary a dumb bitch, she was like, no, it's not. Like, she was screaming like that. I wasn't talking about her. I wasn't talking about her, you dumb bitch. And Lisa was like, you just said it right there. You just said dumb bitch. That is the way you talk. And she's like, whatever. Like, she always does that. She screams. And Monica just reminds me of Danielle Staub. I don't know how you guys feel about Danielle Staub. Like, I actually thought Danielle Staub was great TV. She also is somebody who had a very shitty childhood. And even though she was great TV, she does have that perpetual victim mentality. And I think Monica is the same way. She is always the victim. It's always somebody else's fault. It is never her fault. I don't see how there's any way for her to come back onto the show. I don't think anybody really wants to film with her. And I also feel like Lisa Barlow tweeted something, and she said, when you play all your cards, you have nothing left. And it's really like she played all her cards. What does she have left? I don't think she's relatable to me. But like, if I wanted to watch a middle income housewife, I would watch like something on TLC or something. You know what I mean? This second part of the reunion, it wasn't really doing it for me. I want them to get into the nitty gritty. And of course, they save the best for last. So part 3 is when they get into the nitty gritty. They talk about reality Montees and they really go into it. I actually don't like Meredith because I like Angie, and I can't believe that Meredith would say something like, oh, you want to take her house? We could take her house. Like, Meredith, I hope somebody fucking falls down in one of the houses that you're renting and they sue your ass. I feel like Monica is the type of person that does confidence scams. She's a con woman. That's what she does. Those are called confidence scams because you have to gain the confidence of people. Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on all of this. Guys, don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.